The true Americans are going to be here today.
We're still fighting. We want our country back.
Happening right now, a big story from West Michigan to Washington, D.C. and all around the nation. Conservatives rallying against big government, big taxes, and big spending.
They're called Tax Day Tea Parties. We're live at one of them happening right now in Grand Rapids. 24-hour News 8's political reporter Rick Elvin is on top of the story tonight. Rick?
The applause you hear is for another of the many speakers that have been here at Anabawan Park. As you can see, there are a lot of people that are lined up here along the river, and they're likely to hear some of the very same themes that will be echoed throughout the country, across the nation today and throughout the state. Things like smaller, more responsive government, less spending, lower taxes, but what it really seems that they want is for someone to listen. Earlier today in Hudsonville, when I talked to a group of people that were having their own tax day protests, they really want to make sure people in Washington and Lansing are listening.
I have 5 kids. I want to be able to tell my children that I did whatever I could to save America.
Nothing short of saving the country. That's what many of the people who showed up in large numbers here think is on the line. Government is the problem, they say.
Because I'm tired of the government telling me how I should live and spending my money completely irresponsibly.
Yeah.
A government they believe isn't listening. And after hundreds of rallies like this, with hundreds of thousands of participants like this, health care, a focus of particular ire among this group, passed anyway. So, is all of this doing any good?
If we don't, it'll just get worse. We need to do our part. We need to make sure people know that we're still fighting. We want our country back.
But for many, just the chance to be heard or have their views aired in public seemed enough. It seems they just want someone to listen.
I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a Christian American, and it's time they stood up and listened.
One of the interesting manifestations of all of this is if you go back and look at politics in the years that I've been covering it, when Ronald Reagan was president, there was a lot of frustration on the part of Democrats, even though they controlled Congress. When Bill Clinton was president, Republicans had some control of Congress, but they also had a lot of frustration. Same through the Bush administration for Democrats, who for most of that time did not have control of Congress. But today, with President Obama in office and Democrats having large numbers in both the House and the Senate, there seems to be a real growing frustration from people on the right who believe that they are not being listened to. Now, the real question is, how does this translate into November's election? Will these people turn out at the polls? Will they vote differently than they have in the past? And will they vote with one voice? Those are all questions we can't answer now. We won't be able to answer until November, but at least for today, they are making their voices heard. We're live at Anabawan Park. I'm Rick Alvin, 24-hour News 8.
Rick, thank you. Here's the scene in the southern part of our viewing area. Hundreds turning out in Kalamazoo for a tea party there. It all started with a parade at the Kalamazoo County Courthouse. Marchers carrying signs of all sorts. The keynote address delivered by nationally known conservative icon Phyllis Schlafly.